Everyone thought she was just a quiet, beautiful village girl. Until her wedding night, when her husband found out the truth. She wasn't a woman at all. She was something else entirely. A secret her mother hid. A curse the elders feared. And a truth that would shake the entire village. But what happened that night? No one could explain. Snakes stay till the end, because the twist will leave you speechless. Long ago, in a small village nestled between the forest and the great Muta River, there lived a girl unlike any other. Her name was Nyoka, and from the moment she was born, the villagers whispered that she was special. Her skin shimmered like the moonlight on the river. Her eyes were a piercing shade of green, not the dull green of dying leaves, but the electric, haunting green of a serpent watching from the grass. Even as a baby, she rarely cried. She would just stare, silent and still, as if studying the world with an ancient wisdom. Her mother, Mama Kalima, raised her alone. No one ever spoke of Nyoka's father. Some said he had died before she was born. Others, mostly the older women who clutched their amulets tighter when Nyoka passed, believed he was never truly human. "She is not like us," the elders would whisper. "That one carries old blood, too old." But Mama Kalima would shake her head and say, "My daughter is a gift from the gods." Nyoka grew into a woman of extraordinary beauty. Men would walk miles just to see her fill her clay pot at the well. Warriors, hunters, even chiefs. None could resist her. But she remained untouched, always with a polite smile, always disappearing before a man could truly speak to her heart. She lived simply, quietly, helping her mother in the fields, washing clothes by the river, singing songs to herself in a voice so melodic even the birds would stop to listen. But there were rules. She never entered the forest alone after dusk. She never danced during the village moon festivals. And she never let anyone touch her feet. Once, a curious child had reached out to grab her ankle during a game. Nyoka's smile vanished, and the girl collapsed in a faint. When she woke, her hair had turned completely white. No one could explain it. Far beyond Nyoka's village, across rivers and grasslands, ruled the kingdom of Makoma. Their young prince, Jabari, was known for his strength, honor and fierce sense of justice. But he had refused every maiden offered to him. Until one day, while traveling through nearby villages, he saw Nyoka. She was at the river, washing clothes, her wet skin glistening in the sunlight. Her green eyes locked on a small fish darting in the current. Jabari stopped breathing for a moment. "She is the one," he said. "I will marry her." The elders warned him. "She is not ordinary. She is not yours to claim. There is a darkness around her." But Jabari, like all young men with fire in their hearts, ignored their words. He was determined to make her his queen. Jabari sent gifts: gold, ivory, spices, and silks. Nyoka accepted none of them. Finally, Jabari went himself. He stood before Mama Kalima and said, "I wish to take your daughter as my wife. Not because of her beauty but because of the calm I feel in her presence. It is as if she is the silence in a world full of noise." Mama Kalima said nothing for a long time. Then she said, "You may marry her, but only if you agree to one thing." "What is it?" he asked. "You must never look at her when she bathes. And you must never touch her feet." Jabari frowned. "Why?" "She is different, Prince. You will understand in time." He hesitated but agreed. For love, or something like it, was already tightening its hold on his heart. The entire village turned out for the wedding. Drums beat through the trees, voices sang into the skies, and elders blessed the union with sacred chants. Nyoka wore a white wrapper embroidered with golden thread. Her hair was braided with cowrie shells, and her eyes shone with a strange sadness. When Jabari looked into her face, he saw peace and fear. That night, as the newlyweds entered their hut, Mama Kalima stood beneath the baobab tree, staring into the dark horizon. She whispered something in an ancient tongue, something long forgotten by men but remembered by rivers and trees. The hut was filled with the scent of burning incense and crushed hibiscus petals. Nyoka sat on the bed, silent, unmoving. Jabari reached out to touch her, gently, respectfully. But when his hand neared her foot, she flinched. "Remember what you promised," she said softly, her voice almost trembling. "I did not forget," Jabari replied. "But I don't understand." "You will," she whispered. And then something strange happened. A low hissing sound filled the room. Not loud but constant, like steam escaping from a kettle. Jabari looked around. There was no fire, no wind. But the sound, it felt alive. Nyoka stood. Slowly, she began to undo her wedding wrapper. Jabari turned away, remembering his vow. But the hissing grew louder. Shadows danced on the walls. The room felt warmer, darker. Then a silence. "Nyoka!" Jabari called. No answer. He turned. And that was when he saw it. Nyoka was gone. In her place was a snake. Massive, glowing, coiled like a god. Its scales shimmered like moonlight. Its eyes were the same piercing green. And on its head was a single cowrie shell, just like the ones in Nyoka's hair. Jabari didn't scream. He couldn't. His body froze. His lips trembled. He wanted to run, but something deeper, older, held him still. The snake stared at him. Not with hunger. Not with anger. But with grief. And then, in a voice that sounded like wind through grass, it said, "Now you know." The next morning, the villagers found the hut empty. No Jabari. No Nyoka. Just a circle of shed snake skin and a cowrie shell in the center of the bed. Mama Kalima, when she heard, didn't weep. She only whispered, "The river always reclaims what belongs to it." But the story doesn't end there. Because not all curses are punishments. And not all monsters are evil. Some are guardians. And some are saviors in disguise. Days passed. Then weeks. The village whispered. Children were kept indoors at dusk. Warriors refused to enter the forest. Even the animals grew quiet near the riverbank. Mama Kalima, Nyoka's mother, never explained anything. She only sat at the foot of the baobab tree, staring toward the river as if she were waiting for someone, or something. But on the 13th night after the wedding, the river began to glow. The water shimmered silver and green, and from its depths came a voice, not heard by ears but felt in hearts. "Return." The elders gathered. Drums were silenced. Fires were doused. That night, dreams of serpents and sorrow visited every sleeping villager. They saw visions of a palace beneath the river, of Nyoka weeping beneath a throne of stone, and Jabari, bound in vines, calling out for help. Deep beneath the surface of the Muta River, where no man had ever swum and returned alive, sat the ancient palace of the Nkashi, the snake spirits who governed balance between the human world and the hidden one. Nyoka knelt before the high serpent mother. Her snake form coiled around her in sorrow. Jabari lay unconscious beside her. His heartbeat slowed but steady. "You broke the boundary," hissed the serpent mother. Her scales were older than time, her eyes blind but all-seeing. "You brought a human to our realm. You let love choose you. Love was not part of the pact." Nyoka lowered her head. "He saw me and did not scream." "That is not enough," the old one replied. "You are Nkashi-born. Your life belongs to the water, not to a prince. His blood is human. It will decay. Your love will kill him." "But I chose him," Nyoka whispered. "And he chose me." A murmur passed through the other snake spirits, winding around the stone pillars, their tongues flicking in disbelief. "No Nkashi has ever loved a human," the High Mother said. "But if you wish to keep him, a price must be paid." The price was ancient. To transform fully into a woman, not just by illusion but in truth, Nyoka had to prove that her soul was stronger than her blood. She had to pass the blood trial, an ordeal of 3 impossible tasks in the mortal world, each testing her loyalty, compassion, and sacrifice. And the catch. She had to do it without revealing her true nature again. Not to Jabari. Not to anyone. If she failed any part of it, Jabari would die, and she would be condemned to the bottom of the river forever. No longer a serpent, but a spirit of sorrow, her love becoming a curse on every lover who crossed the riverbank. Nyoka woke beside Jabari in the forest. The trees danced quietly in the wind. The morning light filtered through the leaves like golden rain. Jabari stirred. "What happened?" he whispered. She kissed his forehead. "You were dreaming." He frowned. "But I saw. You were—" "No, it was a dream, yes?" She only smiled. "Dreams speak in riddles, my love." And with that, they walked back into the village hand in hand. People were stunned. They thought the couple had vanished forever. The elders eyed Nyoka with suspicion, but dared not speak. Only Mama Kalima's eyes glistened with unshed tears. A week later, Nyoka received a strange vision in her sleep. A voice whispered, "Feed the one who plotted your death." She awoke with a chill. Someone wanted her dead. That day, Jabari's cousin Obesai returned to the village. He was charming and kind, but there was something in his eyes. Something Nyoka felt coil around her spine like cold breath. At the village feast, she caught Obesai whispering to a foreign herbalist. She followed them to the edge of the forest. "We can use the white root," Obesai said. "Slip it into her drink. She's too perfect. It's not right. Jabari deserves better." Nyoka felt her breath leave her body. Betrayal. She had the power to strike. One hiss, one flick of her tongue in her serpent form, and Obesai would never speak again. But she remembered the voice. "Feed the one who plotted your death." That night, she invited Obesai to her home. She prepared yam porridge with her own hands. She smiled and placed the bowl in front of him. He hesitated. "Eat," she said softly. And he did. The next day, he packed his things and left the village without a word. Task 1, complete. The second vision came as thunder cracked the sky. Save what you fear. Protect what all others wish to destroy. The villagers were hunting something, a leopard that had attacked livestock. Hunters shouted that it was cursed. Others claimed it had glowing eyes and spoke in tongues at night. When they found it, cornered and wounded, they raised their spears. But Nyoka stepped forward. "It is not evil," she said. "It is just hurt." "No," they cried. "It is the forest demon." Nyoka ignored them. She knelt and whispered in a language older than fire. The leopard's eyes turned soft. It limped toward her and collapsed at her feet. She carried it to the forest's edge. For 3 days, she healed its wounds in silence. Then on the third dawn, it stood tall and strong again. It bowed its head to her before disappearing into the trees. Task 2 complete. The third and final trial was the cruelest. To stay with him, you must let him go. If he returns, he is yours forever. If not, you are water again. Nyoka's heart broke. She had to leave Jabari. No explanation. No lies. No goodbyes. Just vanish. Mama Kalima tried to stop her, tears in her eyes. "There must be another way." "There isn't," Nyoka whispered. "The river gave me this life. I must respect its rules." That night, while Jabari slept, Nyoka kissed his hand, placed her wedding bracelet beside his pillow, and walked barefoot into the forest. She didn't cry. Snakes don't cry. But somewhere in the trees, the owls wept for her. Jabari searched for weeks. He climbed mountains. He crossed rivers. He visited priests and seers. All gave the same answer. "She is gone. Let her go." But Jabari refused. "I saw her in the river once. She called to me. I will find her again." He returned to the Muta River. And he waited. For days. For weeks. He stopped eating. He stopped sleeping. Until one night, the river glowed again. And from its depths Nyoka emerged. Not as a snake. Not as an illusion. But as a woman. Whole. Human. Free. She walked toward him. Her feet touched the earth like thunder in slow motion. Jabari fell to his knees. "You came back," he whispered. She smiled, tears in her eyes. "You chose me. Even when you didn't understand." And with that, the curse was broken. Nyoka and Jabari returned to the village, hand in hand. This time the people did not whisper with fear, they sang with joy. Mama Kalima danced under the moon for the first time in decades. The elders bowed their heads, for even they now understood. Some spirits do not come to haunt, some come to heal. And in the years that followed, whenever a child was born with green eyes, the villagers would smile and say, "Ah, the blood of the river still flows."